pulling you down, Adam.
Heat or cold, we hold the line. Answers you need, clear and fine. Experts talking truth in mind. This is the HVAC grapevine.
Woo!
Yeah.
It's good to be back, baby.
It does. So let's just go ahead and get it out of the way. I finished my last marathon that probably won't happen again for another 20 years.
Did you lose that toe? Did you lose it?
You know what? I'm glad you said that. I actually did not lose my toenail that I thought I was going to lose. It was tender, man. Usually when they hurt, it's gone. You know what I mean?
Right.
But it was throbbing for like 3 days, and then my index toe just went numb. It was numb in the beginning after the run. I was like, man, I've never had my toe go numb for a long extended period of time, but it did.
I tell you what, I got a lot of friends in my contacts, but you're the only one that sent me a picture of their toe.
That's right, man.
We're good like that. We're good.
I had to show you the real deal.
Legit. But, and I thought you were going to lose it. That's why I asked.
So why do I bring that up? Because there's an important conversation that needs to happen surrounding my trip to New York City. All right. And it kind of coincides with this conversation we're going to have today, which is all about heat pumps. So I rented I don't even know how do you say this, a not so nice apartment in Manhattan. That's kind of like, right? What do you say? An oxymoron?
You're gloating, but you're not gloating.
It's like Manhattan's supposed to be nice all the way around, but this apartment wasn't that nice. It was cheap. And I
had to take the train back every night and go back, so back to Long Island.
Well, all right. So let me describe this place. It, for Manhattan, I guess it was a good deal. I think I paid like $350 a night, and then I had to extend it my one night, and he charged me $500 for that extended night, which I booked like a month before I was going. But it was a 3-bedroom, dude.
Oh,
three bedroom, 1 bath, and the rooms were extremely tiny. Like there's a bed in the room, and you can't walk around it. You have to climb on the bed when you get in the room.
IKEA, baby. Yeah, you got like a little shelf. That's your nightstand.
Yeah. No, there was actually it's like a little IKEA 4-drawer dresser drawer. That's the only thing that fit in the room. The bed. There's no other room in the room. That's it. That's the whole room. But why do I say that? It was pretty cold. I'm not going to say crazy cold, but it was pretty cold in New York, windy for sure. And there was nothing warm in the place other than the couch, right? The couch is cloth and it was hardwood floor.
You're bringing me back home, bro. You're bringing me back home. like everything you touch is like a cold ice water,
If I'd have ran a blower door on this tiny apartment of maybe, I don't know, 600 to 800 square feet, it would have to be at a minimum 7 air changes an hour. It would have to. It was drafty.
Somebody with the carbon monoxide.
But beyond that, the walls felt cold. You know what I mean?
Yep.
Like the walls felt cold. So like where am I going with this? They had wall hangers in each little room had a wall hanger. So you got a wall hanger, and then the living room had a wall hanger. So you got 4 heads all tied together to one condenser. I'm assuming because there's one master controller. I hadn't seen a mini split setup like this. The controller could control each air conditioner independently. But I didn't run heat and cool at the same time, but that's a whole nother story. But anyway, I could adjust them. I'm sure it was like a heat pump or a heat recovery, but I don't think heat recovery is even made in that small of a system. So probably heat pump. And I'm blasting this thing because we walked in and it's freezing and I'm turning the heat up all the way. And I've got it set on like 82 and we don't even get anywhere close. And I see,
really?
And I see DF on the screen. And I'm like, what the F does DF mean? So like, I'm Googling it on my phone I'm like, all right, I'm trying to remember if it was at LG. I can't remember. And I said, what is DF?
Danfoss?
Defrost.
Yeah, that's what I figured. That's
It
why I
went into
laughed.
defrost mode. And I'm like,
Ah,
I'm like, we haven't even been running but a few minutes. I'm like, we're already
that's
in defrost
crazy.
mode. I'm like, what kind of piece of crap is this thing? All that to say, it was struggling to keep up, and we were like in the 30s, dude. So like,
Yeah,
heat pumps can get it done if the
that's how they get
house
the
is
bad name.
under control, right? And
Right.
so there's a lot to be said about like you
Yeah.
can't just throw a heat pump anywhere and expect it to work if the house is
Yeah,
peace. And so
absolutely.
with that being said, I'm bringing on our guest tonight who knows a lot about that, who lives in the cold weather along with me now, Mr. Adam Mufich.
John Cena? Oh, Adam Mufich. What's up?
Adam, I don't think we've talked.
Oh, there's the bell. Finally.
Oh man. Like royalty just happened in the show. All right, Adam. I don't think we've talked since I got back, and we talk a lot. But have I told you the story about the apartment in New York City?
All right, say that again. The internet's going in and out. This is not ideal. We'll get it done.
All right. Did you hear my story about New York City's apartment when you were backstage?
Yeah.
About the heads
Yep.
and like so. What's the word I'm thinking for? Mean radiant temperature. Am I saying that right? Like the space actually
Yep.
got to temperature eventually, right? Like I pushed that heat pump hard. I've got everything. Like we went into defrost like 3 times over, and I'm like, go baby, go. Eventually, I got to 72 degrees in the space because I assume it had more capacity than it needed to. I got 4 heads, right? Like, what's the smallest head you can get? Like a third of a ton?
I think it's
Or
like what?
or maybe
9,000
6,000?
BTU?
Like, needless to say, there's more
Yeah.
capacity than probably needed.
Yeah.
But it took forever to get there. That place was drafty and the wall stayed cold. Like it was the perfect apartment example to say, like, if you don't fix the house, it ain't gonna work. It ain't gonna work well. You know what I mean? Like the space is warm, but like the walls are cold. You know what I'm saying? And if you haven't experienced this in your own house or somebody else's house, it's a weird feeling to be in a space where like the temperature is saying 72 and maybe the air temperature 72, but the walls are like 60 degrees.
Like ice. Yeah. Yeah.
So like you don't feel comfortable.
It's kind of like when you go ice fishing.
I don't
You're
know.
warm. You're warm in the
answer that.
tent, but you're sitting on a block of ice. It's
Yeah.
a frozen lake, right? Well, I mean, dude, my man's from Chicago. He knows what's going on.
So Adam, I gotta ask you a question, and then we're gonna do some like deep dive, man. Like you've lived in the north your whole life, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
So like have you grew up or lived in a house where it was just drafty and it wasn't insulated well? And did you experience this problem of just like it's cold, but the temperature on the thermostat says it's fine?
So I didn't grow up that way, but I bought a house when I was probably 25, 26 years old, and it was a 110-year-old house. It was terrible. It was bad. And I remember we would crank up the thermostat to feel like comfortable whatsoever. And until I got my first gas bill in the dead of winter, we would live at a high temperature to be comfortable. And my first gas bill was $800. And I'm like, nope. And I put a password protect on the thermostat, and I had roommates and they were all pissed off.
A password protect. Oh man, dude, that's up there, bro.
And just so like you're running the gas, but in that house, did it feel like it was like even though you reached set point, it just felt cold? You know what I'm saying? Like were the walls insulated?
Yeah, it's like it's nonstop. That was there was no insulation in that house whatsoever. So it was basically you felt good as long as it was blowing warm air. But as soon as it shut down, you felt like just you were frozen,
Right.
Right.
Just because like what you were saying,
yeah.
that medium temperature. Yeah, the walls are sucking the heat off your body,
Yeah. It was a really weird feeling. I hadn't experienced it yet, like ever. I can't remember a vacation that I've ever took. I've been skiing in Colorado. I guess I stayed in a decent place to where it was insulated well. I didn't have this weird feeling, but it was really, really strange because I'm like watching it. I'm like, man, it's at that point. I don't understand. I'm doing this because it was a wall hanger way up high, and I was, I'm saying like I'm looking at, I'm reliving it. You know what I mean?
Whose class at the symposium did I take that talked about that? If you had like a cold wall, you could feel it. Was it Steve Rogers or
No, I don't know. I think
somebody was talking about mean radiant temperature? But
is that an
oh,
Alex?
it reminded me of like when people see poltergeist, they feel like something cold behind them. It's just a cold wall with no insulation, you know?
I don't know. So I don't know. We should dig that up.
I
But
gotta find who's talking about that.
let's do some deep diving, man. I think like we've got a heck of an audience tonight. We should talk we should get technical.
Everybody's in the chat tonight.
You know what
I
I
don't
mean?
know.
We should get technical. So let me ask you a question. So there's Grapevine. What do we like to do on the Grapevine? We like to talk about newsworthy items. So what's a newsworthy item right now? We're talking about heat pumps. Adam, can I get a bell? Oh, sorry. So, Adam, yeah, it was an accident. Tell me what's news, bro. What's new in your world?
So we just launched our pilot class for the high performance approach to heat pump NCI, National Comfort Institute, which it's really cool to see it come to light because that was kind of my baby. I've been working on that on and off for, almost a year.
That's
And it's
awesome.
finally done.
That's what's up, guys. That's what's up. NCI, your man right here just pumped out his class, heat pump class right there. So what is that class, Adam? Is it like a 1-day class, a 2-day class?
It's a 1-day class, and it's kind of like a high level overview of all the different things that you really need to pay attention to make sure that you're going to have a successful heat pump retrofit. Right? We talk a little bit about duct leakage, we talk about airflow, we talk about shell leakage, insulation, load calcs, selecting the right piece of equipment, different types of compressors. We kind of touch on everything.
That's awesome.
Yeah. So it's like would you say it's more theory or more practice or maybe a little bit of both? He froze on me.
Am I still frozen? I'm sorry.
No, you're good.
No, you're good. You're good.
I think I need to go send in my internet payment or something. I don't understand what's going on right now. No, it's a little bit of both. We talk about commissioning as well too, but we dive into in the beginning. Basically, we break it down, because like one of the first things that I always hear from people is heat pumps don't work in the north, right? Well, it's 30 degrees outside or 28 degrees outside right now, and I only have a heat pump. I don't have gas heat. So somebody didn't tell me when I installed my heat pump, right? But yeah, so we kind of go over the whole 9 yards of what's important. And then in the very beginning, we talk about how heat pumps actually work. Because there's a misconception that when it's cold outside, when it's 30 degrees or below, there's not enough heat outside to transfer into your house. Right?
I've heard about that.
Start from the beginning and we keep layering.
It's so funny, like Florida, like 32, cut that heat pump off, run you, dude. Florida. Now I know a little bit more. It was a couple of years ago, but like seriously. So unreal. There's a lot of it's just a lot of rule of thumbs out there, and there's a lot of just misconceptions, man. It really is.
Yeah.
So also we'll drop that next week. There is the U.S. Heat Pump Summit. So if you're in the chat and you're like, I want more. If you're having like a huge demand of wanting to know more about heat pumps, there's going to be basically every session is going to be about heat pumps. It's called the U.S. Heat Pump Summit. That's going down next week. In Worcester, close to Boston. I might be saying that wrong.
Worcestershire sauce. Your sister's sauce.
Yep. It's near Boston. Okay. That's where we're going. It's going to Boston. And I'm headed there. All right. And I've
Yeah.
got a session with Ben Knopp, and we're going to talk about a project we did. I'm not going to spoiler it right here on the show. You're going to have
Adam,
to
you
go
going to that?
hear that one.
No, I'm actually. You said it's this upcoming week or the following week?
No, it's not this week. It's next week.
Next week.
Okay.
Yeah, it's next week on Tuesday and Wednesday, I believe. It's a 2 day.
Yeah. No,
Yeah.
I would
gonna
love
be-
to. I'm not, unfortunately.
Any of the boys going from NCI?
No, I
No,
think this is
Okay.
one we just kind of skipped. We got a lot of stuff going on. We're in the heat of the training season right now, so we got classes going on
Yeah.
everywhere.
yeah. This is
That's
y'all's
right.
This is the busy season, man. This is where everybody's
Mhm.
chasing education. You know what I mean?
Yeah, absolutely. I
So,
saw
all right.
Ty Banana Man's going. So
Yeah, Banana Man will be there. I've got something exciting to talk about, but I can't quite talk about it just yet. I can just tell you it's coming in 2 days.
spill the beans. Come on.
Come on, man. Come on, the pressure is
Come on. Let me call Steve Rogers, bro. Hold on.
All right, here's what I will tell you. I will tell you this. If you are subscribed to the TEC newsletter,
I am.
if you are, you would have seen an email that went out Friday. And in that Friday newsletter, there will be a webinar. So I'm just saying there's a webinar that's coming in 2 weeks. And I'm going to have a discussion about what we've added to the software of the digital TrueFlow grid. And it is awesome. And we've been working on it for over a year.
I did miss reading that newsletter.
And it's epic. And I'm going to
Yeah.
tell you all about it in 2 weeks. So get ready.
I
Is
saw
this
it.
one?
I saw it. It
That's
is
it.
super cool.
That's the one. Well, you've seen it.
Am I not allowed to post that?
No, you need to post that because people
Okay.
need to open that webinar.
I thought I'd get like death threats from Steve
No,
Rogers, but
it's out there now, man. It's out there. So, what is that webinar going to be about? Let's just kind of break the ice. I'll give
who
you.
is that guy? That guy looks like he knows what he's doing.
That dude looks skinny, bro. That's all I'm saying. He looks like he lost a
He
bunch
looks
of
like he
weight.
runs marathons or something.
All right, I'll give you a little bit of a hint. There has been a major request for furnaces, right? Like to forecast furnaces in heating mode. So I'll just give this to you. That's coming. That's coming out. But
Okay.
but we put a spin on it that is. It was epic. And
Nice.
when this was discussed over a year ago, I'll be honest, I was intimidated. I was thinking, oh man, like, that's a huge lift. I was like, I don't know if we could do that. Like, we could do it, but good Lord, like, are we going to do that? And, cause I'm thinking like, that's going to be a ton of work. And so we went for it and it just got ready. Why am I excited, dude? Because I beta tested it and Friday was my last time to have to beta test it and work out any kinks. And I was like, and man, to give you an idea what it feels like on this side of the table, when you test something and test it and test it and test it and test it and it finally gets ready, it's just like, yes.
That's
You know what I mean? So we're there.
So
Yeah.
Adam's seen this software for like 7 months. He's in the cool
Well,
kid,
Adam
the cool
is-
kids area.
Adam's definitely seen a version of it, but I don't
Okay.
think I don't think you've seen what it's become since the last time you've seen it. Because I was looking for feedback from you probably about 4 months ago or something, but
No, I saw
it's changed a lot since then.
You sent me a short little video maybe a week and a half, 2 weeks ago.
Yeah,
Did he send you a picture?
I'll have to go look at that video. All right,
Yeah.
so I'm going to switch gears, but
All right.
but
We're talking too much talk.
Let's just say it's awesome, and I'll see you guys in 2 weeks.
2 weeks.
Yeah.
All right. Mark that on the
2
calendar.
days. 2 days.
2 days.
I thought.
Oh, yeah,
Nice.
it'll be released in 2 days. I'll
All
try
right.
to have supporting materials out when it comes out, but there'll be a full webinar in 2 weeks that I have scheduled that's going to try to cover, how to use it.
So you heard it on the grapevine. Chris is making every available possible, like crotchety complaint, like, the TrueFlow grid, I want to get it. He's basically squashing all of that. He's killing all the excuses.
I will say this. And I will say this. Have you ever bought a tool in your life that just continues to grow in what you can do with it? You know what I'm saying? Like,
Bro,
I,
No,
like,
bro. You
no.
know what? You
like
got me on that,
I
bro.
will
Like,
I will say this. I bought a lot of tools in my lifetime, but I've never seen a tool give
damn.
me like increased functionality at the rate I feel like we're going. You know what I'm saying? But this tool, I mean, of course, it gets a little bit more expensive with the cost of inflation and parts and all of that. But like, like the ability of what you're getting out of this
It's
tool,
nuts.
what
Yeah.
you're about to get in 2 days, should up the price, but we're not going to up the price. But it should. You know what I'm
It
saying?
should.
Like
Yeah. Right.
it's
Okay.
I mean, you literally have like a whole
It's kind of like Navhat going like, "Hey, our vacuum pump also does recovery for free," and it, it's
kind of,
not happening, bro.
yeah. It's anyway, yeah, it's cool.
The I would say, in my opinion, the people who aren't excited about what you're doing don't understand what you're doing. They don't understand the power behind it.
I would agree.
Right.
I
Yeah.
would humbly agree. Like, I've had
Or they're
quite a
ready
few.
to retire. Yeah.
Well, let's.
Get ready to retire. Let's kick them down the road,
Yeah.
put them in an
Hey,
old
let me
folks
help
home.
you retire. What do you got? I got a good guy. I know a guy.
So
Help you
I'll
retire early.
I'll say this. People get it, but forecasting new equipment, and why am I talking about this on the heat pump show where we're talking let's talk heat pump? Because what's about to drop is going to be very successful. Those who are trying to size heat pumps, very much important for those who are going to be designing dual fuel heat pumps. So
Okay.
if you're getting cold climate
It
and
goes
you have to
together.
design
Yeah.
a dual fuel heat pump, that's kind of a hard task to do. And let me explain the scenario. Now, let's get into the meat and potatoes of what I kind of want to talk about tonight.
Let's do it.
All right, let's just say you have a house and someone requests let's just say the load comes out and the load is a 3.5 ton heat pump with a backup furnace, right? Let's just say, let me
So
rephrase that.
3.5 ton cooling load.
Yes, there you go. Three and a
Three and a
half
half
ton
ton
cooling load and an 80K furnace, right? And so
It's a big house.
let's just say that I'm not doing all the math in my head very well right now, but let's just say the homeowner goes, "Oh, well, you know what? I want to put a 4 ton heat pump in because I want to try to cover more of the load." And so they want to put a heat pump in because they've looked at the data and it's like, okay, well, should we go up a half a ton or whatever, cover more of the heating load with that? Well, you've definitely got to have more flow when you have, that more capacity in that heat pump. So there's a flow change, right? And so that's another part of the equation. But then you've got to look at that furnace. What furnace are you going to put in with that dual fuel system? And if it's an 80K, are you looking at the temp rise, right? And temp rise is going to kind of dictate what the flow of the furnace is going to be. So it's a delicate situation of like, if you forecast a future install for the air conditioner, let's just say at, I don't know, 350 CFM per ton, and you look at the flow, because let's just say that was the target flow you wanted to hit. That's one equation. Then you'd want to look at it on the heating side and say, well, what if I move air 400 CFM per ton to get the most out of my heat pump, right? And then that's a duck equation. And then you need to look at the furnace and say, well, if I get to a situation where the heat pump can't keep up and I have to switch over to the furnace, and the furnace is an 80K and it has a low temp rise, well, then what is that going to look like on this duct system? And that's equation number 3, right? And all 3 of those equations are important. The least important right now is the flow equation for cooling because it's at 350, which means
Right.
if the flow equation works for the heat pump and heating mode at a higher flow, then it's irrelevant about the cooling because the flow rate's going to be lower. So that equation doesn't matter, which means the heating equation is what matters in cold climate in this situation because you have higher flow rates on those two sides of the coin, and the cooling side equation is probably less. Does that make sense? And so that's 3 things that you got to kind of like design for, right? Like for the quote of a retrofit replacement. And that's quite a bit of math that you've got to pump out.
Well, I
or
sell
or
ductwork, so
or
I
do
just do
you?
two AC systems. I mean, two ductwork systems, one for heat, one for cooling. Done.
So, I will say, um, dual fuel is harder than you think it is, I guess is what I'm trying to say. Like,
Well, and let me throw a
It's
wrench in there,
difficult.
and I'm gonna like sidestep from the true flow for a second. But
sure.
I think one thing that a lot of people get wrong too when they're trying to predict what's going to happen is if you're actually paying attention to the pressure drop of your evaporator coil, right?
Right.
Everyone knows you're supposed to look at the pressure drop for a wet coil, right? Because the pressure drop is higher for wet coil. Well, if you have a dual fuel situation, you have a higher airflow requirement on the gas furnace side, you actually need to look at the dry pressure drop at that flow, which could be higher than the wet pressure drop at the heat pump heating flow,
What you're
right?
saying, the
So
dry coil is got more resistance?
it depends on the design airflow for the gas furnace. So the whole
Oh,
thing is
right.
it
Because you're
depends.
bringing the
You got
airflow
to
up.
right. If you have a higher
Right.
requirement, you got to look at the dry pressure drop on that. So
Right.
like sometimes there you know everyone thinks like you always got to look at wet. Well, why did they give you dry if you always got to look at wet, right? Well, there's times and this is one of those times.
Right.
Yeah.
Dude, I got to give it to the northern guys. That's tough, man. I
It,
feel like it's cake down here in the south. You know, the heating's always lower than the cooling. It's like, all right, just throw a heat pump in, no problem. Up north, bro, you guys got to deal with so much.
I used to think that the furnace side of the world was easy, until I got deep into having to kind of figure all this out. And I'm like, man, this is a lot to have to like
Right?
compute and think about and just design for and wrap your head around. Um,
Hold up.
it's a
Wait a
lot.
minute. It's
All right.
only a lot if you want to do the right job.
True.
It's a,
Because I
yeah,
hear
there's
guys
a lot of
oversizing gas
clutches.
furnaces like insane. Like they could heat a barn with these damn things, and they got like a
So,
2 ton
Mhm.
for AC.
so,
You know, so
so the question came in to me Friday, and I'm not putting names out there, but this is a really good exercise to kind of talk about. Friday, someone local to me now called me and they said, "Hey, like, um, put yourself in their shoes, right? Like, let's just." And I don't know them very well, but I got the phone call and it's like, "Hey, I have a customer. This customer wants a heat pump." They did a load calculation, and the load calculation, I didn't get to see it, but he was looking at it and saying that no, this is a large house. I got a couple bits and pieces of facts, right? And so he was going to design a 3.5 ton heat pump with 100K furnace, right? And so we talked, and I said, okay. I said, he said the homeowner wants a 4 ton heat pump. He's like, and I'll be
Mm.
honest, he's like, I don't know where to go with this. Like, I've never done this before. And I totally understand that because people in the like way up north, they are not like this heat pump wave is not something that they've done. It's not something that they do. This is all new, right? Hell, let's go back a few years. Furnaces haven't always had the low temp rise that they have. So it's not just one game being played. There's like multiple games being played
right,
that are
right,
changing on these mechanics, right? And so we kind of talked about it and worked through the math. And I'm like, well, he's like, he was asking, he's like, what would you do? I said, well, I would first make sure I conquer the load, right? It's like, first things first, look at the load, start there first. So I'm just going to kind of walk through like how this advisory call went, right? And so
yeah,
it's like if you have a load calc, well, you have to get a piece of equipment that matches the load. We're not getting into
Mm.
load reduction yet. We were starting with picking a piece of equipment that matches the load. And he's like, well, should I press the heat pump up? And I'm like, I wouldn't. I said, because, there's the concern of humidity during the summertime, right? If you go up to the 4 ton and you're oversizing the heat pump, trying to carry more of the load in the heating side of the season, because that's what the customer maybe wants. I said, you're leaving humidity potentially on the table for the summertime. So what are you going to do about that? Do you want to have another conversation with the homeowner about an independent dehumidifier? I said, you could do that. I said, like that's a strategy. I'm not saying I agree with that strategy personally. I would probably size, the air conditioner for the cooling load and then
Yeah.
supplement. Sounds like you've told me that
Or
there's
like a 70-pint DHU or something like that.
well, I'm being told there's a furnace going on the job, right?
Right.
Like, so the furnace is there. So if the furnace is already there and I already plan to use it as my backup heat, I would size the air conditioner for the cooling load, conquer the cooling load with it, so I don't have to run any dehumidifier in the middle of the summer, knowing that I'm going to run my furnace a little bit. And honestly, gas here is pretty cheap, so there's that side of it too.
Yeah.
Uh, so we have that conversation, and then we got into duct sizing, right? So and I'm not trying to make this whole show about TrueFlow, but he had a TrueFlow test, and I'm like, well, send it to me. Let me see the duct sizing. Well, I started doing the math, right? And I forecasted the original test in with the 3.5 ton, and the TESP was like 0.63 TESP on a 3.5 ton heat pump. And I was like, okay. I think I ran the temporize on the 80K furnace, and it was also somewhere about 0.6 something, like 0.63, 0.65, really close to it. And I was like, okay. I said, you could install a 3.5 ton heat pump and an 80K furnace, and you could be at about 0.6 something static pressure if what the numbers you're telling me on this furnace is true for the blower. But then I ran the numbers on a 100K furnace and a 4-ton heat pump, and the static was really high. Like we started to get into, like 0.78. And I was like, okay, that's high, right? Like
Yeah.
that's
That
kind of
stinks.
like getting too far. That's getting too far. Like I don't really like that very much.
Too
And
far in the weeds.
too
Yeah.
far in the weeds. I was like, so after looking at that math, right? I said, man, this is like the perfect example to try to take a house and say, what can we conquer easily to get the load down just a little bit?
Right. Right.
Circling back to permanent load reduction, like, can we just reduce the load just a little bit, right? And get the
Yeah.
best of both worlds? Like, that's what needs to happen. But then I'm kind of like, how do I tell that person to do that? Because that's not their wheelhouse, right? They called about air conditioning and duct capacity and load and picking the right equipment. They didn't call me to ask about load reduction on the house so
Right.
they could size like the most aggressive piece of equipment for the home.
It all goes together,
But
baby. It all goes together.
it all goes together. And it's like
Hmm.
there's this beautiful marriage that could happen with maybe some permanent load reduction work to where you get the best equipment and then you're doing no duct renovation essentially at that point, right? You're
Right.
like, boom,
That is
like the ducts can stay. No duct
Couple of
work.
inches of insulation in the attic, maybe. I don't know. What are you
Yeah.
talking
So
about?
it's
I
it's
it's funny sorry.
no, all right, let me say one last thing. I'm gonna let you take it. Um, there's this there's just this beautiful thing that can happen where if you just put a little bit of work into the house, you're going to reduce energy costs and you're going to get the right system and you don't have to do any duct work. That's beautiful. Or you have to
Yeah.
do duct work to make the bigger system fit because
Yeah.
the house needs the work but doesn't get it. Like that's where we're at.
It
That's
sounds like an infomercial. It's like, oh,
well,
do a little bit over here. Just wait, you know?
it's like that's man. There's got to be some partnerships between HVAC people and building science people. This is it. This is where it matters right here.
That's
That's
what
what
I've
I'm
been
trying to say.
talking about.
Yep. All right, Adam. Sorry.
I was just gonna say, it's funny because I know a lot of HVAC guys are intimidated by making building recommendations, right? They're
Right.
like
Right.
what you guys just said, it's outside of our wheelhouse. So it's easier for us to either quote ductwork or quote equipment. And you're not confident in what you're doing. And I think it's really important to understand and start doing load calculations so you could actually play with the numbers and see how different things impact the house and the heating and cooling requirements of the house, right?
Is it maybe because a lot of HVAC guys don't know or understand Manual J, maybe? Maybe that's where that disconnect is?
Um, I wouldn't say that. I would say when you say play with a load calculation, I think there is a bigger part of our industry who is maybe just not doing loads or just getting into doing loads. And the idea of taking a load when it's done and then start manipulating that load it sounds like a lot of work and a lot of knowledge that you have to start playing that game. Right. And I think that's where the struggle is. It's like, well, adjust what? Like, and I would look at you, Adam, and
Right.
let's just say I'm asking you the question. I say, okay, Adam, adjust the load. What do you mean by that? What do I adjust?
Oh,
Do I adjust the R value on the ducts? Do I adjust the infiltration rate on the home? Do I adjust, like, what am I adjusting in the load? Right. Like,
take the pool out of the center of your house first. Yeah.
Yeah.
no, but I mean,
And
it's
I mean, like,
like in these
it's
settings. Oh, go ahead. Sorry.
I was just gonna say it's not difficult to do, and legit, you could click one thing at a time. Say, I'm gonna change the R value in the attic. What does that do to the load? I'm gonna change the windows. I'm gonna change the infiltration rate, right? Um, and everything will impact it a different way, and you don't really know what's gonna happen until you start playing with it. And that's how you get comfortable doing load calcs too, because in the beginning you think everything, every little detail matters. But then when you
Right.
start playing with it, you're like, that's really not that important. I'm really not gonna like nitpick that
Right.
specific detail in the future, you
I
know?
just I talked to Russ King about that. I hit him up on the phone. I was like, dude, I was that guy. I'm so glad you said that at his training class. But I always forget the analogy. It was splitting
He
hairs,
says, we're
cutting.
not trying to split hairs, we're here to shave heads.
That's it. Shave heads. That's it. I'm in there for like 4 hours. My first couple of load calcs. I'm like, oh my goodness, it matters how this and just get it done. You know, it's amazing. And once you understand, like you said, what does what. Like, I was shocked that the blower door didn't swing it that much on certain houses. I thought it would be more. And you know,
Well,
go ahead, Adam. I'm sorry.
I'll
swing the sensible or swing the latent
cut out.
down in Florida.
Yeah, I thought it wasn't. I thought it was going to be like, all right, it's going to move it like a ton on everything, you know. But I mean, when you put the numbers in, the numbers don't lie, you know.
The first time you make a building recommendation and the customer loves it, it gives you confidence. And then you're going to do it a second time. And, you know, installing the correct, that's one of the things I go through in the duct system optimization class. And I spend a lot of time on that, is predicting the new static pressure. And everyone's like, how do I fix ductwork? How do I fix ductwork? How do I fix ductwork? Like, they're all intimidated. I'm like, you know, the easiest way to fix ductwork? They're like, what? Install the correct size equipment. That's it.
Right? Dude, seriously. Like, that's
Yeah.
It's so crazy. It's like every load calc I'm doing, it's like a ton and a half oversized. It's ridiculous. You freaking nailed it, dude. Genius. And they're like, oh, let me write that down. Like,
Yeah.
I don't get it. It's because you're trying to accommodate this big beast that shouldn't even be there. And they can't see it. It's like it's right in front of them. It's too close.
So, Chris, if you don't mind me getting back to your story for a second, and you mentioned like, hey, they wanted to install a 4-ton, and I think a lot of people are in the misconception, they're under the misconception that you can't and I don't know if this is an inverter or not, but you can't oversize an inverter. It will just ramp down, right?
Mhm.
And yeah, it does ramp down, but the larger the equipment, the higher the minimum capacity is, right? And you were talking about Go ahead.
Okay. No, keep going.
And I was going to say, you were talking about dehumidifying, right? And we want to make sure that we have long enough runtime that we have a nice wet we're actually dehumidifying. But, you know, and a lot of people will argue the point like this inverter has a dehumidification mode. So I don't have to worry about that. And that's
He freezes up when he's given the good stuff. This is when an ad runs and says you got to come to class to hear the rest of it.
I think NCI is just pulling his mic out like as soon as he gives away the good juice.
I know. Sorry.
No, you're
I don't
good.
know what you heard, what you didn't hear.
I think I'm gonna recap what I think you're saying. And And I ran into this scenario when doing that Virginia job. If you had a 2-ton heat pump, or let's just stick with an air conditioner, right, to make it easy. You can have a 2-ton air conditioner. You could have a 2.5-ton air conditioner, right? Um, different compressors. Both have a ramp down capability because they're inverter. The 2-ton's gonna run at a lower capacity, lower total capacity, right? So if you want an air conditioner that's going to cover more of the latent load in the shoulder season, it would be smart to aggressively size the air conditioner. Go with the 2-ton, you're going to get more runtime. You're going to get more dehumidification when you need it. The flip side of that coin is the 2.5-ton compressor is a little bit bigger, so it is going to handle more of the heating load during the heating season. So you have to pick and choose your evil. Right? Do you want more dehumidification when you need it, or do you want more heat pump heating when you need it? And that's a
Right.
choice you have to make. And
Yeah.
we have, I don't know, like with the rewrite that happened with Manual S, kind of like gearing toward adding supplemental dehumidification, we've kind of broadened our horizon to allow both strategies to be at play now. And so it's like a choice. It's not necessarily a right or wrong answer. It's a choice. And
Right.
picking a choice means you have consequences and you have to design for those consequences.
Yeah.
And some of that design work is not in a manual, or maybe it is in a manual. Like if it's in the manual and it says, you can put in supplemental dehumidification, okay, but that's tricky, right? Because when you're doing like a manual J, you're designing for hottest day, coldest day, but you're never
Right.
designing for the wettest day in the design. You have to kind of go above and beyond probably the software program that you're using to get the load. You're going above and beyond that designed for the wettest day. And so there takes like another layer of education and thought that goes behind that decision. Does that make sense? That's
Dude,
tricky.
it ain't easy what the guys do up north with the furnaces, man. I really give it to them, you know.
But you also got to keep in mind. Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
No, go ahead, man. Nope.
Sorry, I keep skipping. I don't mean to talk over people, but it's like skipping on me. I hate it.
Is it? Yeah. Tell the kids to get off
all right.
Fortnite. Come on.
I just switched over like 10 seconds ago to my phone. So let's see if this goes better. But the one thing I wanted to mention is like dehumidification mode in an inverter. You sell like a 20 SEER piece of equipment or 18 SEER, 22, whatever it is, and you're relying on the dehumidification mode. When you have, let's say you're sizing for heating and you're like, I want that 4-ton because I want to get more heating capacity out of this. But you actually look at the 4-ton, and in the performance data, it has a larger latent capacity than the 3.5-ton, right? It's a bigger piece of equipment. The problem is it doesn't run. It's not running, or it ramps way down, right? So then what happens is if you are relying on your dehumidification mode, what that's doing is it's slowing the fan down to get that coil colder. And when you slow the fan down, if it's a 20 SEER piece of equipment, it's not a 20 SEER anymore. If you're living in dehumidification mode all the time, you did not sell them a 20 SEER. You might as well sell them a 16 SEER at that point, right?
Dude, seriously. Yeah. That's what I've been seeing in a lot of the inverters that I put in. The run times are just trying to get that humidity out, and it's just trying to act like a dehumidifier, and it's killing that efficiency, man.
Adam, I have a question for you, man. This is a heat pump question, and I'm switching gears because this is something I haven't experienced, and I'm curious how people deal with it. Heat pump inverters, right? Cold climate heat pumps. What are people doing in the cold climates to get the most out of that heat pump? What I mean by that is, what accessories are people deploying to get the most out of heat pumps? Any unique things come to mind when I say that? Like snow guards, specific pan heaters? Like what do y'all do?
Yeah. So like and I'll speak mostly towards Daikin because that's what I installed the most of as far as cold climates go. One of the things that we installed was a what did they call it? It's called the a wind baffle. That's one of the things that's a big deal because in the winter months, it's generally windier than in the summer, right? So if your heat pump is off, there's a potential that the wind is blowing through the heat pump. And when that happens, the fan could be actually spinning and rotating backwards. So to prevent
Oh,
an issue,
right.
if it's spinning backwards and then there's a call for heat, the fan could continue to spin backwards. You could have an issue with the heat
Oh,
pump.
Really?
dude.
Okay,
So
I haven't heard that.
Yeah.
yeah,
And then if it's spinning like that, it could generate like a back EMF, I can imagine, man.
I don't even know what would happen, to be honest. I just buy them because they're cheap and
Wow.
throw them on there. But it's kind of cool. It looks like they're like little louvers that you put on to
Yeah.
where the discharge of the fan is at. But then, Chris, you nailed it as far as base pan heaters. So like when you're running heat pumps and it's negative 10 degrees outside, as
Right.
you go through defrost, all that water gets warmed up from the hot gas and it drains down into the bottom of the unit. And when it's
Mhm.
drained down in the bottom of the unit, some of it will drain through the unit, but there would be some that will sit in the bottom of that unit, right? So if you don't have a heater in the bottom of the heat pump, it will form ice. And then every time you go through a defrost
Ooh.
cycle, the ice just continues to build up and you could damage the side of the outdoor coil.
Oh, so that's why the mini splits have that little drip tube on the bottom?
So something I want to say, maybe it might have been Gary Nelson. It might have been John Simmelhack talking to Gary Nelson. I can't remember where this stemmed from, but I heard that you got to pay close attention to the pan heater strategy that the manufacturer is deploying.
Really?
Because some are staging it in when it's needed, some are leaving it on for longer periods of time when it's not exactly necessary. But apparently, it's not. They're not all playing the same game when it comes to the pan heater, and
Wow.
and it's not necessarily like a ton of electricity usage, but it's a little something. You know what I'm saying? And if it's got the wrong strategy at play, you might be wasting electricity essentially. So that's one
Hey,
recently I've heard about that I thought, I'm gonna start paying attention to that.
I just start putting heat pumps on like sewer like holes, where all the heat comes out in like New York City. You know? That's it.
It's a good idea, man. Yeah.
I mean, dude,
Yeah.
like you got to hang those up high because the snow drift too, right? How high are you guys putting
Oh
those
yeah.
things up?
I don't
Um,
know. I'm recently lived here, man. So Adam,
Well, I mean,
educate.
dude, you just moved in. Where's your condenser? Is it on the ground?
Yeah, I moved into a house that has an AC and a furnace, and it does not have a heat pump yet.
Oh, it's straight cool. Okay.
Yeah. I gotta make a move, man. I just
This
ain't got
this
to yet.
smoke's got a straight cool, and
I
we're
know,
doing
dude.
heat pump. I
Dude,
shouldn't even
I know.
ask. We got to put that in the show notes, bro. We can't talk about that live.
Yep.
I already told Chris when it comes time to change out, I'm gonna make a trip to your home and we're gonna do a change out. Me and you are gonna do that together. And I already told
Nice.
Steve like 2 years in one. I'm gonna go to Steve's house too, and we gotta make videos on this because we're
We
gonna
do.
make
Hell
the
yeah.
guys from the energy conservatory, we're gonna make their houses more energy efficient, right? And their
Yeah.
systems more energy efficient.
Yeah, I'm totally down for it. I think mine would be super easy to do because like my system's not like too terribly old. So I think a coil replacement to swap the coil out to a heat make it a heat pump system, it'd
Yeah.
probably be an easy swap, right? I can get a box, same cabinet, um, and then the outdoor unit. Anyway, the line set here, man, y'all got it easy. Like it's so easy here, bro. Nothing's in an attic. It's all in the basement. Like
Right.
so easy. But the line set just runs across the basement ceiling, shoots straight out the wall, and the unit's just over there
Ooh.
in the
Yep.
grass. Like so easy.
My line set goes up in the attic, comes
That,
down
that's
the wall.
Yeah. Adam, have you
that's
ever
probably where
had to
your mice is coming in too, by the way.
that's
Yeah.
Adam, have you ever had to like spider crawl your way into like the pitch of a house and grab the line set where you've chiseled out somebody's soffit and have to like work a line set 1 foot at a time using three people
Oh,
as a resource to get the line set where it needs to be?
I hate it.
Oh, those days, man.
I've done it a handful of times and I don't like it.
I
Yeah.
hate it, man.
Yep. Yep. Nothing like it, man. It's nothing like 130 degrees laying in a bed of insulation and you're the guy in the corner saying, all right, give me
Oh,
another foot. Give me another foot. Yeah. Yeah.
dude, imagine having a career. You just set up like a table in the basement, like get all your fittings, and instead of being in a hot attic.
Yep.
Oh man,
All right. Here's a challenge question for you guys. Let's riff on this one.
what you got?
This is super heat pump specific. You ready? All right. If you could choose between a fully communicating inverter system of any brand or an inverter heat pump system that you could control the controls on, like a Bosch, right? Which would you go with? Would you go with something you could manipulate the wiring and run the fan speeds and optimize it in your own way? Or would you go with proprietary controls and be stuck with limited functionality, but potentially maybe better controls for optimization based on what the manufacturer put in the control logic?
So
Ooh,
like
here we go.
fully communicating or like 24-volt?
Yeah, like let's just say inverter system either way. One's
Mhm.
legacy controls, one's communicating controls.
Gotcha.
Where are you gonna
I'm,
go?
I'm going full communicating, bro. I'm going all the way.
And why?
Dude, I mean, it's just we just had this in HVAC questions and answers, man. The guy's like, how come my compressor doesn't ramp down? It's like, dude, you got a dumb inverter, bro. You you don't have a full communicating
Point.
inverter system. And there's not in the equipment that I deal with, the full communicating inverter system has the functionality. I could do whatever I want to this thing. It's amazing. I could put it to more comfort. I could put it to more efficient. I could tell it not to run like a dehumidifier. But what's your take on it, Adam?
So honestly, if the one problem that I run into is to have a true cold climate heat pump, you most of the time it's got to be for the most part you're looking at a communicating system, and I'm talking about like I don't remember what the exact number is. I want to say you have 100% capacity below 4 degrees or -4 or whatever. I can't remember the right off the
I
top of my head, but
Yeah, I think it's a certain percentage of the capacity down to is it 5 degrees? I think it has to hold
I,
a certain amount of capacity to 5 degrees. I don't know if it's all of the capacity or a certain
It's
percentage
I'm
of
pretty sure
capacity.
it's I'm pretty sure it's all, and then there's also a COP requirement. I want to say the COP has to be equal to or greater than 1.75 or something.
Yeah,
I
you're
just
right.
made that up, that number, but there's a COP number that's along with that. I can't
Oh,
remember off the top of my head.
we got some
But
help in here. -5. -5.
I actually don't think
Right.
that's correct.
Yeah, I thought it was 5.
I think it
Maybe
is like it's
5.
above zero. I'm pretty sure it's above
Yeah,
zero.
I think it's 5.
Regis, can we go to
All right.
phone line for that
Um,
one? Phone a friend?
we
Can we call Jim Bergman?
but he doesn't care. He'll be like, call somebody who cares,
Yeah,
right?
he's like, yeah,
But
call Waffles.
the problem is all the heat pumps that really have power, like the Mitsubishis and the Daikins and Fujitsus and all that, they all have their own kind of weird communicating setup. I
Okay.
heard, I don't know if it's true or not, but last year at AHR, Bosch was going to actually come out with a true cold climate heat pump. And that is intriguing to me, to be able to manipulate it, and actually you could use an Ecobee thermostat and do whatever you want
Oh,
with it. I thought
wow.
that would be pretty cool. Yeah.
I mean, that is the downside. Full communicating. You got to go with like the whole communicating thermostat. And it's expensive,
Well,
man.
hold on a second. I haven't done this, but Goodman has Comfort Bridge technology, which lets you put whatever thermostat you want, and
Oh, there you go.
it has the furnace board or air handler board that can talk to the condenser board. Why can't if Goodman can do it with Comfort Bridge, why couldn't Bosch play the same game? You know what I'm saying? Like, I guess what I'm saying is
Yeah.
I see
Right.
I know of one brand specifically that will let you put a legacy wired thermostat on the wall. and give you that full communicating kind of functionality because the indoor air handler board and outdoor board are doing it. Right?
I mean, Jim
Or-
Bergman's got
But the problem
a
is,
Bosch, right? Jim's
yeah,
got the Bosch. He loves it. He says his
does.
wife says it's way more comfortable than the furnace. And that's I mean, you could put whatever thermostat you want on the wall for the Bosch. So
the
Yeah,
I'm
problem
not,
is
I'm
though,
not, I'm
with
not a Bosch guy.
with that
Tim Pistachio likes Bosch too. So I mean, they like him.
pistachio.
The
The problem is
pistachio.
with Amana and Daikin and that. I know what you're talking about with the Comfort Bridge and you use Cool Cloud in that.
Mhm.
They don't have any heat pumps that are true cold climate heat pumps. That I mean, they have the Daikin Fit, but as far as I know, they don't have a model that's a true cold climate heat pump, right?
Oh,
It has
okay.
good capacity. It's good capacity, but it's not. You're not down to 100% close to zero.
Okay, right. It's like decent around like what 20 degrees. It does okay.
I guess I never looked at it because I was installing in Louisiana, so I never got asked that question. But I know like there's the Fit, and then there was typically two pieces of equipment that were higher SEER than the Fit, right? They had like the Fit, and then there was like the 17 SEER and the 18 SEER, or like 18 and the 20 SEER, which were the traditional looking condensers that were higher SEER rated units. Those aren't cold climate?
Wow.
No, those have awful heating capacity. They're
Really?
horrible.
Okay.
Yeah, they're terrible.
Interesting.
Well,
Wow.
that's what you get when you get two Southern guys talking about heat pumps. That's why we have to pull Adam on,
That's right, man. We had to have a pro show up on heat pump night.
So
When is he
school us a
coming?
little bit. We're talking. What do they call those? The hyperheat ones.
Oh, talking about Mitsubishi's Hyperheat?
I mean, I just did a load for the Bahamas. It was like a ton, so like you gotta fill me in on these heat pumps, man. That they go way below.
Yeah.
What are your regular heat pumps? Like if I grabbed let's say I grabbed a normal 14 SEER heat pump.
Yeah.
It kind of bottoms out like 30 to 20 degrees at like.
I mean, the thing is, they
Shot?
don't bottom out. Like you're still producing heat. And that's one of the things I think is a misconception for people because they're like, okay, it heats below 30 degrees, but it's not efficient anymore. So that's why we tell people to turn on their emergency heat.
See,
I wrote an article
even I
maybe
had that
a
misconception.
year or 2 years ago. I wrote an article showing the math behind COP, which is coefficient of performance. And basically all it's comparing, COP compares how much electricity I'm using versus how much heat I'm outputting, right? And you're like, well, how does electricity and heat compare? Well, you convert you're basically converting watts to BTUs. That's all there is to it, or BTUs back to watts. And you're looking at it. Resistance heat has a COP of 1, which means it's 100% efficient. In that article, Good Cop, Bad Cop that I did, I picked the lowest level Goodman heat pump that you could find. And I showed that it's still more efficient to run that heat pump at -5 degrees than resistance. It had a COP of like 1.75 or something like that. So it's always more efficient,
Mhm.
Right.
Absolutely. Yeah.
The whole thing
We
is
gotta
how do you
put that in the
control it?
grapevine again.
You have to understand.
Well,
I'm letting him go because I know there was something good there coming at the end of that, and he froze up on me. All right, we're going to need to get a donation for Adam's internet. I'm just saying.
they're changing all the heat pumps over there and they're hitting lines,
All the heat pumps
his
are running
fiber.
right now, man. It just snowed, right? All the light, you know what I'm saying? The peaker plant's just going berserk, and so like there's just not enough energy. All right. Good show. Good show. Last thoughts, man. Give me your last thoughts on heat pumps, and then let's Let's go back to our families.
I mean, Adam's got it. You don't have a furnace, do you?
No, all electric.
Do you have backup electric heat?
I have
Adam told
5
me he
kW
turns
of
on the
backup
oven.
heat.
Hold on. Wait, you said what? No,
I have
I guess
5 kW resist.
that's the question I was gonna. More specifically, the question I got is, did you prepare for your heat pump to break? Meaning, did you put in more electric heat to cover the whole load in case the heat pump breaks, or did you run it just enough electric heat to get by in case
Right.
did you just add supplemental heat, or is there enough power from the panel pulled to your air handler to kick on 15 or 20 kW if needed?
Is this a family show?
It's a semi-family show.
I would like to. I'd like to
I
quote
quote
the great Michael House right now, but I'm not going to do it.
You know what we want to say
No.
when he says, we'll just say, "Go house yourself."
Yeah.
No, I always bridge the gap between cooling and heating. I don't size for emergencies, So
Yeah, he's not a. Yeah,
Say it, man. Say it. He's not a puppy. I get it.
he's not a puppy. Beep. Hit the bell.
Mike,
I mean, it shows. It shows.
do you guys see a lot of heat pump installs in Florida?
I do have I've got a few heat pumps. Yeah. Yeah. I mean, we're climate zone too. So, but do we have many issues? I mean, it's.
Well,
I'm
I guess
trying
I
to
was
think
just
of-
saying, is there demand for it? I guess do people ask you for it specifically, or is it kind of like, nobody talks about it here?
should I keep it real or
Yeah, keep it real. Like, yeah, I'm
I
curious.
keep it real. So if you're doing sales in my area, right?
Yeah.
And there's a heat pump and you're 1 out of 5 guys doing sales, right?
Mm-hmm.
There will always be 1 or 2 AC companies that goes, I could do it cheaper. I'll put a straight cool. Here's your estimate for a straight cool.
Mm-hmm.
Me, I'm always telling people, listen, in our area, climate zone 2, I mean, your electric bill is going to be a lot higher for heating. I mean, we have a short season for heating, but it's going to be a lot more comfortable, and these guys size these heat kits like all over the place. Sometimes I'll see like on 90s homes, I'll see 15K on like an 1,800 square foot house, like 2,000. I'm like, what is going on? So like, usually our loads they're close. So you get an AC unit, like a 3-ton. I mean, your heating load sometimes it's, I mean, we're in like the Goldilocks. It's like 3-ton heat, 3-ton cooling. It's shockingly, but I try to steer people towards the heat pump because I mean, it's a lot more I got a heat pump. I love it. Now, does it outweigh that cost? Sometimes I'm looking like $500 to $1,000 more. It all depends on the client, man. Got to give them their options. That's what I do. But it's a good place to sell heat pumps in like just north of me, North Florida. Oh, it's a no-brainer, dude.
Yep.
Heat pumps all the freaking way, man. But Jennery's area, climate zone 1, Miami. It's like,
yeah, I really want to hear Jenry's take on this.
We're going with a straight cool. Yeah.
Yeah.
We're going with straight cools. You could heat, and they're like, all right, turn the oven on. Let's make some lasagna. Well, they're probably not doing that in Miami. They're doing what? Cuban burritos? Is that what they got?
I think so. Burritos are big there, from what I hear.
It's an inside joke, guys. It's an inside joke. Cuban burritos. That's an old one. It's an oldie, but a goodie.
All right, so I'm going to recap, man, and then we're going to shut this thing down. U.S. Heat Pump Summit, 2 weeks from now. If you want to learn more, it's going to be a lot of good speakers there talking about different things. Get there if you can. Adam, right there, just dropped a new heat pump class. which I'm pretty excited to hear more about. And 3, there's a webinar coming up in 2 weeks. I'll be hosting it. If you want to know how you're going to use the TrueFlow for more, especially in dual fuel applications, come see me. You may like what you see. That's what I have for tonight. All right. We'll see you
Nice.
next round. Bing, bing.